Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. Only count the money in your pocket. And it might seem simple to do that, but trust me, it makes a big difference in the long run. For example, now the way I do things, whether, I'm getting money from, AdSense for ads for my YouTube videos or my subscription sites or book sales, I'll make a certain amount of money that month, but on many of them, I don't get paid until the earliest the next month. Like for my book sales on Amazon, or ebook sales rather. Well, books and hardcover books. All the books I sell this month, I won't get paid for until August. And that's all of my sites. It's only things I can get paid on right away is direct sales where someone pays me directly. That's the only time I get paid right away, and those are the only ones I count. The other ones I don't count until that money is in my bank account. And here's why that's important. Often out here, many people spend money that they really don't have yet. And I'm going to tell you, and sometimes that can get them in trouble. Because they'll assume they're going to make a certain amount of money at a certain time, but something could happen. I mean, it could be something basic like they get laid off and they had plans for the money they thought they were going to get. They could get laid off, something could happen to them, anything. They might be they could get fired. An emergency could come up. And, they try to budget, which is a good thing, but they're not sure. And especially if you're in a business, because the thing with businesses is, yes, you were making $10,000 like for the past couple months. You think that's good, but it can dip down quick. I remember with my books, this was around 2005. I was making a certain amount on Amazon. Then all of a sudden there was a drastic dip. And it took a while to recover. I'm still not sure what exactly caused that dip in sales. But I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have that money. See, the thing is, you want to count the money that you have control over. See, one of the things I do every single time I get paid, it could be, it could be a $5 donation. I write it down. I keep a chart, monthly charts, columns. I can just write down what I made on a particular day as soon as I made it. But I only write it down when I have, at the very least, absolute control over it. Because if somebody hit my PayPal or CashApp, I have control over it. But if it's Google AdSense, which pays you the next month, I'll see what it is. I have an idea what's coming, but I don't plan for that money until it's sitting in my bank account. And the reason you want to do this is you do have control over it. Now, let me tell you why I think this way. And I told you I've had 1,000 jobs. I worked on a retail job back in the 2000 in the aughts. And this was before I had direct deposit. It was one of those things I would just, 12 o'clock, get my check, take it to the bank and everything. There was one time they didn't have my check. The company didn't have the check. There was something that went on, something in the delivery or something. That messed me up. And they got the check a few hours later, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute, anything can happen. Unfortunately, out here, you have glitches. Unfortunately, you have mistakes that can be made. And no, you don't want that to happen, but you don't want to be in a position where you're stuck, where you're paying for stuff. Like, say if I'm going to travel, I don't think, okay, I'm going to have this much money, I'm going to travel. Then I pay for that ticket right then. I pay for everything. I make sure I have the money to the side to pay for whatever I need to pay for, even if it's a few months down the line. I don't count it. Indeed, I'm going to tell you what, even with credit, I'm real funny with credit. I'll use one credit card because unfortunately that affects your credit score, how you paying every month. Even if you pay it off, they still want to see you paying something. Unfortunately, it is a scam to me. But so what I do, I don't buy anything with my credit card if I can't pay it off right then. Like literally right then. Like at this retail place I worked at, it was a department store. There were people who had the department store credit card, but then they would buy something on it using an employee to get an employee discount. But then as soon as they bought it, they would pay for it right there. They would pay the bill right there on the spot, which is a smart thing to do. And that's how I look at even using the credit. I get zero things on the credit unless I know I have the money I can pay it off right then on the spot. And even then, just as an aside, I usually don't. I wait for, like they say, oh, you owe this much, and then I'll pay it. But then once I pay that, then I'll pay the rest. But I always make sure I owe something every month. But that's more to keep the credit going. But the thing is, it's always based on how much money is in my account. Only count what I have. Even though I know it's coming and, there shouldn't be any problems, I don't spend it. I do not spend that money until it's sitting there. Even when I'm talking about, paying for my housing and all of that stuff, I, at the very least, have that money in my account already. Because seriously, I've seen it. I personally went through a time where I'm thinking I'm going to get a certain amount of money and there's a dip. And you definitely want to do that if you're in business. It's not as bad if you're working on a job, but then you should have the same attitude. And I know some people say, well, I pay my car note, I pay my mortgage/rent. Well, as a practice, I always talk about saving money. Try to at least save you want to save 3 months. So that's one of the reasons you want to have savings, but at the minimum, a month at any time. At a minimum, a month. Actually, I have a dear friend who was about to transition a job, and she actually knows she has her rent paid for a few months. She actually knows it. She got the money. She got the money in her account. She purposely does that. So, you want to do that, but only count the money you have in your pocket. You have control over, just as in habit. One, you can rest easy knowing you can pay that bill. And two, it keeps you on top of your money. And it gives you some discipline and everything. You don't be thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy all this, I can pay for it later or something like that. Some people get in trouble. That's why I say anything can come up. And that's why I always emphasize having a savings. All right? So, y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.